should show you.
I hereby open the meeting. Mr. Seva Pessoa, I bid you welcome. You are appearing before a committee appointed by the Doctoral Board of the Erasmus University Rotterdam to defend your thesis and the appended propositions. But before we start the discussion, I invite you to give a short introduction in which you tell us about the subject and aims of your studies and your findings. The floor is yours.
Dear Rector Magnificus and committee members, thanks for coming. People, thanks for being here. Today I'll talk a little bit about my work in the last 4 years, the alternative renin-angiotensin system, exploration of its therapeutic potential. The chronic diseases are the major cause of death and disability worldwide, and the leading cause is cardiovascular disease, followed by cancer. As you can see here on the left panel, Netherlands have points and also disease models. So with that, I want to thank the Heart Foundation, the Erasmus MC, family, colleagues and friends, and Sir Rector Magnificus, I'll give you back the word.
Mr. Candidate, I thank you for your presentation. I call now upon your promoter, Professor Danser, to start the discussion. Professor Danser.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rector. Mr. Candidate, of course, first I would really like to congratulate you with this very nice thesis and also the nice, colorful forefront of the thesis, which already tells us a little bit that you're from maybe a non-Dutch origin, and indeed the Brazilian view is already clear when you see this thesis, I think. Of course, we've had in the past couple of years ample opportunity to discuss your work, so actually I think we should now focus on the future. And one important topic, and of course also now discussed in your talk here, is what about renin inhibitors? They have had initially a very positive receival, but then some clinical trials were done which retrospectively perhaps were not that wisely designed. And so now it seems that might be even a little bit negative view on such drugs, and well, that concerns all one drug which is clinically available. It's called aliskiren. Well, you have done these studies.
Animals or to some patients with different kind of disease, they will have different levels of angiotensin II. Thanks.
Mr. Candidate, the time allowed for the defense of your thesis is over. The committee will withdraw to deliberate. Would you please wait here until we return? I adjourn the meeting.
Should have come to the front.
Yes.
I reopen the meeting. Mr. Candidate, the Doctoral Board of Erasmus University, Rotterdam, represented by me, has considered your thesis. Having heard your defense and the advice of this committee, I grant you the title of doctor. I authorize Professor Danser to bestow this degree upon you in the customary manner.
It is with great pleasure that I undertake the task the Rector Magnificus has allotted me. And by the authority invested by law and according to the decision of the Doctorate Board of this university, I hereby confer upon you, Bruno Seva Pessoa, the doctorate degree. And as a testimony and proof hereof, I present you the diploma signed by the Rector Magnificus, promoter, co-promoter and other members of this committee and endorsed with the seal of the university. So, I'll give it to you.
Look at the photograph.
Okay. Did they take a picture? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. So, having performed this task, may I take the opportunity to be the first to address you as a doctor and to congratulate you on your achievements. Yes, indeed, I'd like to congratulate you, but of course, given the fact that your co-promoter Anton Rox has been guiding you over the 4 years, I think it's more than fair that he will now give this so-called laudatio to address you. Anton.
Thank you very much. Dear Bruno, congratulations. I should say, dear Dr. Seva Pessoa, congratulations. And it's a privilege, of course, to explain to people here present and the committee how everything went during these 4 years. And everything started with me getting a grant from the Dutch Heart Foundation for investigating cyclic angiotensin 1-7 as a potential drug against heart failure. And since the greatest expert, leading expert in the world is living in Brazil, he's Professor Robson Santos from Belo Horizonte, we decided that perhaps a good candidate should come also from Brazil. And we asked Robson Santos to ask around in his group. And he said, well, I don't know whether I will find anyone because Brazilians, they are very connected to their country. And, you know, also I want a very serious person. And I know my students, they like to party, they like to be social, they have a lot of humor, they come late at work, and I have to find the right candidate. I don't know whether that will work out. And in fact, after a few weeks, indeed, it seemed that the Brazilians were very hesitant. So we placed an advertisement, and I think we didn't know really whether the advertisement was even issued, but we received a letter from you, and it was clear from your CV that you were not coming from Santos' lab, but that you did this on your own account. So when you came, I didn't really expect somebody with the typical Brazilian samba phenotype, so to say. And that was indeed true. You were very serious, silent, reserved. You were also very ambitious. You arrived perfectly on time every day at work. You made long days, and it was clear that you were a man with a mission, and that's to succeed here in science in Rotterdam. And still, you had some factors that were typically Brazilian, your good sense of humor, for instance. And also, when I asked you if you would choose a colleague to work with you, colleague PhD candidate, you said, well, first of all, it would have to be a woman, and I would choose her at the side of the swimming pool. So it was clearly that you had some Brazilian genes there. So you started the project of the Dutch Heart Foundation, which became now Chapter 5, but we immediately recognized that it was quite a tough thing to do. We didn't have much experience, almost no experience with the mouse model, and as already highlighted, there are some technical things perhaps that need some reconsideration. you were going on and on, but then equipment broke down, many mice died, the ethical committee even started to ask why is this the case. So it was not at all that easy. And to make it even a little bit more difficult for you, one day you came in my office in the typical way that you come into my office with the finger like this. I have to tell you something. And you sat down in front of me and you said, Monica is pregnant. And I said, well, now we are going to see some samba because that's a very joyful message. In fact, you didn't. You were very serious and you were very worried because how are you going to manage a big family? And it would be your second child already and also a difficult project. And to make it even worse, you contracted a heart disease yourself. I don't know if anyone still remembers, but you had, if I'm right, you contracted pericarditis. But you still had a very good sense of humor during that because you said, well, I can take, of course, lots of cyclic angiotensin 1-7, and that will be solved. Well, indeed, you cured. I don't know whether it was the cyclic angiotensin 1-7, but your promoter and I decided that perhaps working on chapter 5 wouldn't be the only plan A to follow. And we, as we do with many of the people who are PhD students, we had to start some plan B. In fact, it became plan B through E in the end. But we have, of course, to thank all the support you had in trying all these plans, people like Richard, Usha, René, also people from the immunology department, people from the cardiology department who helped out. And slowly but gradually, the productivity came up. And we thought perhaps, well, this mission, this mission impossible, would get possible in the end. And indeed, your first paper started to appear. So you got first a few review papers, but of course you needed some originals there. And with the help of very smart work with archived and acquired data and lab work of Ingrid, etc., you got your first paper with the renin inhibitor, which was published in Hypertension, which is, of course, a very good journal. And by the end of the thesis, you even managed to publish chapter 5, and that's what we all wanted, of course. And doing all these different plans and all these different things makes it quite a variable thesis. In fact, it's not very simple to defend a thesis with so many different aspects of the renin-angiotensin system. You did that very well, and for this you got the grade of doctor, which is, in my opinion, and the committee's opinion, justified. So productivity went up enough to guarantee this promotion. But what about at home? What happened there? And the rest of your life, of course. And in fact, very recently you came to my office again with your typical finger. I have to talk to you. And you said, first of all, I can get to work in the lab of Professor Dulce Casarini. So I congratulated you. It should be a very nice experience, and I hope we will have a nice collaboration together. And then, but I have a second message. Monica is pregnant again. And the consequence of these actions was that we had to finish your thesis, well, now in February. Otherwise, Monica would not have been able to travel back to Brazil, being pregnant, and you would not have been able to accept a job offered by Dulce Casarini. But so we had to hurry a little bit with the thesis in the end, but it all worked out very well, and I can only conclude with the words, missão cumprida, mission accomplished. I give the word back to Director.
Dr. Seva Pessoa, I have the pleasure also on behalf of the doctoral board of the university to congratulate you on having obtained your doctorate degree. I formally declare this meeting closed.